They were interested. They texted first, asked personal questions, looked for reasons to talk, and made you feel like something was beginning. Then, almost without warning, they started pulling away. Their replies became shorter. The conversations became less personal. Plans became vague. And the warmth you felt before was suddenly replaced by distance. So you start asking yourself, did I do something wrong? Did I move too quickly? Did they lose interest? Or was the connection never real in the first place? Today, we're going to look at why someone can show genuine interest and still suddenly pull away. Because interest and consistency are not always the same thing. Chapter 1: Interest and consistency are different. The first thing to understand is that attraction is not the same as emotional availability. Someone can be curious about you. They can enjoy your company. They can feel chemistry. They can even want to see you again. But none of that automatically means they are ready to create a stable connection. Interest is a feeling. Consistency is a behavior. A person may feel interested in one moment and still lack the ability, desire, or emotional readiness to show up consistently over time. This is why the beginning of a connection can feel so intense. There is curiosity. There is anticipation. There are new conversations and new possibilities. But as the connection becomes more real, the person has to move from feelings into actions. They have to communicate. They have to make plans. They have to be emotionally present. And that is where some people begin to pull away. Not necessarily because the original interest was fake, but because they cannot or do not want to maintain it. Chapter 2: The connection started to feel more serious. Sometimes a person is comfortable when the interaction feels light and easy. They enjoy flirting. They enjoy attention. They enjoy discovering someone new. But when the connection becomes more personal, the emotional risk becomes higher. Now they may feel seen. They may worry about expectations. They may start thinking about rejection, responsibility, or the possibility of getting hurt. For someone who is uncomfortable with emotional closeness, this can create an internal conflict. One part of them wants connection. Another part wants distance. So they move closer when they feel safe, and pull away when the relationship starts to feel real. From the outside, this can look confusing. One day they are warm, open, and engaged. A few days later, they are distant and difficult to reach. You may feel as if you are dealing with two completely different people. But the pattern may be connected to how they respond to vulnerability. The important point is this: understanding why someone pulls away does not mean you have to follow them into uncertainty. Chapter 3: They liked the attention more than the connection. Another possibility is that they enjoyed being desired more than they wanted to build a relationship. Some people love the beginning of dating. They like the messages, the compliments, the excitement, and the feeling that someone is interested in them. They may be very engaging at first. They may create strong chemistry. They may make you feel important. But when it is time to invest consistently, their behavior changes. They stop asking questions. They avoid making real plans. They appear only when they want attention. Then, when you begin to move on, they may return with a warm message or a sudden burst of interest. This creates a cycle. Closeness. Distance. Return. Closeness again. The cycle can feel powerful because every return brings relief. You may think, maybe this time will be different. Maybe they finally understand what they want. Maybe the distance was just temporary. But a return is not always proof of readiness. Sometimes it is only proof that they noticed you were becoming less available. That is why you should not measure interest only by how strongly someone comes back. Measure it by whether they can stay consistent after they return. Chapter 4. They became uncertain. Sometimes people pull away because they genuinely do not know what they want. They may have enjoyed getting close to you, but then started questioning the connection. Maybe they are not ready for a relationship. Maybe they are still emotionally connected to someone from the past. Maybe they are meeting other people and comparing different possibilities. Maybe the connection moved faster than they expected. Or maybe they simply felt interested, but not interested enough to continue. Uncertainty is normal. Everyone is allowed to change their mind. Everyone is allowed to realize that a connection is not right for them. The problem is not uncertainty itself. The problem is when someone keeps you close while refusing to communicate clearly. They give enough attention to keep your hope alive, but not enough consistency to build trust. This is where you need to separate an explanation from an excuse. There may be a reason for their behavior. But a reason does not automatically make the behavior suitable for you. You can understand someone's uncertainty and still decide that you do not want to live inside it. Chapter 5. They are keeping the connection on their terms. Some people like relationships only when they control the distance. They come closer when they miss you. They pull away when they feel too much pressure. They return when they want comfort, attention, or reassurance. Then they disappear again when the connection requires effort. This can make the relationship feel like an emotional roller coaster. The highs feel exciting. The lows feel painful. And the contrast between them can make the connection seem more intense than it really is. But intensity is not the same as intimacy. A relationship does not become meaningful simply because it creates strong emotional reactions. Sometimes what feels like powerful chemistry is actually the result of uncertainty. You are not only enjoying the person. You are also waiting for the next moment of closeness. You are trying to regain the warmth that disappeared. And that constant waiting can make their attention feel even more valuable. Healthy interest does not have to be perfect. People can be busy. They can have difficult days. They can need space. But over time, genuine interest usually creates some stability. There is communication. There is repair after distance. There are clear attempts to stay connected. Without that, you may not be experiencing a complicated relationship. You may simply be experiencing inconsistent access to someone's attention. Chapter 6. Look at the pattern. When someone pulls away, it is easy to focus on the most recent moment. Maybe they sent a cold message. Maybe they canceled a plan. Maybe they took much longer to reply. But one quiet day does not tell you everything. The better question is, what pattern keeps repeating? Do they pull away once, explain what happened, and return with consistent effort? Or do they repeatedly become close, create hope, disappear, and then come back when it suits them? Do they make real plans? Do they follow through? Do they show interest in your life? Do they communicate when something changes? Do their actions match their words? These questions are more useful than trying to decode one message. A single short reply can mean many things. A repeated lack of effort is much clearer. The goal is not to find the perfect psychological explanation. The goal is to understand whether the connection is giving you enough clarity and reciprocity. Chapter 7. What should you do? If someone has started pulling away, do not immediately chase them. Do not send a long emotional message explaining everything you feel. Do not try to make them jealous. Do not disappear as a strategy to make them miss you. And do not keep increasing your effort in the hope that they will finally become consistent. Instead, you can make one calm and honest move. You might say, I've noticed some distance lately. If you're still interested in continuing this, I'd be open to it. If not, I'd rather have clarity. This message does several important things. It describes what you have noticed without attacking them. It communicates your interest without begging for attention. And it gives the other person space to respond honestly. After that, pay attention to their behavior. If they respond clearly and make a real effort, you have useful information. If they give vague promises but continue acting the same way, you also have useful information. If they ignore the message, avoid the question, or return only when they want attention, the pattern is speaking for itself. You do not have to convince someone to choose you. You do not have to become more attractive, more distant, or more mysterious to earn basic consistency. One honest step is enough. The next step should come from them. Final thought. Someone can like you and still be unable or unwilling to show up consistently. Their original interest may have been real. The connection may have mattered to them. But real feelings do not always create reliable behavior. And for a healthy relationship, reliability matters. Do not confuse someone's return with their readiness to stay. Do not confuse chemistry with compatibility. And do not confuse emotional intensity with emotional availability. What matters is not only how someone behaves when they are close. What matters is how they behave when closeness requires effort. Do they communicate? Do they make space for you? Do they follow through? Do they repair the distance? Or do they keep repeating the same cycle? You do not need to solve every mystery behind their behavior. You only need to decide whether the pattern works for you. Because the right question is not always, how can I make them come closer again? Sometimes the better question is, do I want to keep accepting this level of distance? Don't judge the moment. Judge the pattern. And remember, interest can be real and still not be reliable. If you want to understand more about mixed signals and modern relationships, stay with Dating Club. In the next video, we'll look at what it means when someone texts first, creates a connection, and then suddenly disappears.